Do 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 do. Let's see how our audio sounds today, guys. Got lots of things nicely charged up. Also, guys, more than 100 new subscribers in the last couple days. That's crazy work. Thank you so much. It is definitely a little chilly. Hey, Elias is here. I see your comment. What's up, Elias? Thanks for being here. Chilly. Okay, audio sounds good. That's great. We do have about an hour where we can do some wedge work is what my plan was. I'm still not swinging super full speed given the state of my knee at the minute, but that's okay. We're gonna do what we can do and be grateful for that. Oh, how has my day been? My day has been pretty good, Elias. Just getting started here. Thanks for asking. I hope you're having a good day. I am gonna adjust this just fractionally. Oh. Another good day to get some work done. Hey, Pigfan is here. Shout out to you, Pigfan. Appreciate all your support in the channel. Love seeing your comments and engagement. Ooh, definitely gonna need a little bit of time to get loose. I'm gonna do one more thing super quick. I'm gonna go like this. Is this the right one? Yeah, I can go like this. Chat in here. Copy. Hey, Paul's here. What's up, Paul? Appreciate you saying hi. You know what was pretty cool, Paul, the other day? I think Jamin was in here. We were streaming, doing some putting inside, and he said, "Where's Paul from Scotland?" And I said, "You know what? That is super cool that we have stream viewers now hoping to see other stream viewers during the stream." So that to me was a pretty cool moment to think like, wow, we're really, building a community here, people that are like-minded, want to work hard and feel inspired, and also just have a place to come and hang out, right? Life can be stressful. If, watching me hit balls or work on my putting or talk about whatever nonsense I'm on about creates a space where people want to, hang out and spend time, then that's amazing. I bet that one went about 90 yards. 94. So definitely going to be building up our speed as we warm up with these short clubs. Pigfan says, "What's the link you just put?" Oh, that's for the RAPSODO launch monitor that I have behind me. So if you guys really want to support the channel, all you have to do is click that link. We want to get a bunch of traffic from that link to the product. And that shows these companies that, hey, when John, uses our products, people really engage with them. They check them out. So that's what allows us to hopefully, continue doing more sponsorships and working with cool people. Paul was golfing at Troon. You're my favorite YouTuber. Oh, thanks for saying that, Pig Fan. You're so good. To be honest, you can't be roasted. You're just so good. Well, there's definitely lots of golfers out there who can play at a higher level than me, but if, you know, my style and whatever stuff I'm talking about resonates with you, then I will gladly be your favorite YouTuber. 103 there at Troon Darley. Very cool. How'd you play, Paul? Whoa! There we go. 115. That's about more like the full swing gap wedge number we would play on the golf course. Maybe 120. But certainly 115 is in that gap wedge number. Elias says, I'm stretching now for my round. Very cool. Going out to play golf on a Wednesday. That's amazing, Elias. Chip one over the net. I'm going to try not to do that because I don't imagine my neighbor enjoys finding these golf balls in his yard. So I try my best to keep them in the net. You're just so cool. You remind me of my uncle. He loved golf and he sadly passed away. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your uncle. Pig fan. Not bad. My friend Frank is same handicap as you, but he struggles going left a lot. Yeah, that left miss, it can creep in and it can be really challenging mentally when you're just like, man, I would do anything to just hit like a slice, right? When you've got that club face overly closed. Bow, 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 bow. 115 again, so that's a really good strike. Frustrating. He's got a strong grip, it sounds like. What I'm working on, guys, and trying to feel is just keeping my upper body stable, right? I've been tending to go this way a little bit, trying to really either playing Pebble Beach or my home course in a sim. Very cool. You bring so much joy to watching your channel on a bad day. Makes me smile. Well, I appreciate you saying that, Pig fan. That is what we are trying to do here, right? The world is hard enough and scary enough. Why not try to create a space that's, you know, positive vibes, where people can come and hang out and, you know, maybe have a smile on their face for a few minutes while they hang out with me? Then that's well worth the time spent. Do 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 do. Oh, I think this is a bad environment to try shots like that, but I do want to learn. I want to learn how to pop it up and smack it. He will change anything else but the thing he needs to. That's funny. Strong grip in the palm of the hands. Yeah, my grip I think is pretty neutral. Right, like 2.5 maybe knuckles there on the left hand, and you know, we try to keep it really light in the fingers here. Also, going to the bigger grips, guys, I find myself missing it left far less frequently. .116 there. Hey, Jake 007 is here. I said, hustle, I've got to tune in. Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate that. Thanks for saying that, Pig fan. I appreciate that. I'm sorry to hear about the losses in your family that you've been going through. .110 again, so we're pretty well pretty well, you know, in the range for what we'd expect this club to be doing on the golf course. Let's see if we can dial one up to like 120. $123 there. Even more than we needed. But you can see, guys, it's much easier hitting these wedges with that, like, you know, 85% pace, right? I'd rather hit this like 110. That one went 117. So maybe we're warming up a little. Let's try to hit this one 100. We're going to try and do some different yardages here. $98, pretty close. Pretty close. Really happy with that. I got through by watching John's YouTube channel. Oh, well, that's amazing. That really means a lot to me, Pig Fan. Paul says, swing's looking good, bud. Thanks very much, Paul. It feels stiff a bit at the moment, to be honest, but let's see how it looks. Yeah, that does look pretty nice. The issue hasn't usually been with these shorter clubs, right? It's the, you know, 6, 5, those mid irons where I feel like I lose some shots. $106. Let's go 85. Let's see if we can hit 85 with this club. That might be short. That's probably only 70, 75. Yeah, 70. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right, 85. That might be like 80. Nope, 87. Love it. Within 2 yards. Wow, Pig Fan, I'm glad that that this channel has had such an impact on you. Show me 85. 82. Man, this thing will simply chew through the battery on their device. Feel it fingertips. When it's in the palms, your left hand makes a fist. With the fingertips, it doesn't. I think I do a pretty good job of keeping the club mostly in my fingers. Right, I don't feel much of the palm on the club at all. This is a 52-degree wedge. Guys, my gap wedge. Working on some different yardages with our RAPSODO launch monitor back there. So this will be a full one. Let's go 120. $113. Might have missed the strike a tiny bit. $119. Okay, so when we strike it properly, get the right distance. Chunk and Skank wants to know, what device is that? It is a RAPSODO mobile launch monitor, the MLM product. Sorry guys, pretty cold and windy out here today. If you click that link, Chunk, the pinned message on the chat, you can learn more about the launch monitor setup. $121, so we're really happy with that. yardage there. 80 yards on every swing for a 52. Oh, yeah, so for this club, Pig Fan, my stock yardage on the golf course, I would say, is like probably that 115 to 120 range, where I feel really comfortable hitting this club there. You know, really in that like kind of 110, even 105. I like hitting this club from 105 sometimes, depending on where on the green the pin is, what the conditions are like. Right? Sometimes, you know, I could hit 56 that distance with a, you know, a higher flight. It's going to come in softer with a little more spin. Or, right, if you're hitting into the wind, maybe with a back pin, I might take one more club and just chip this one and try to get it. See, that one went 95, right? So all depends on the conditions and the flight that you're trying to play. Left pinky needs to be soft. Yeah, I've always tried to feel like it more with the index and the thumb, right? That's where I feel like these are really the fingers that are driving the club, right? Especially kind of the index finger and thumb on the left hand, guys. It's really where I like to feel like I can control that club face. Sometimes we make really crazy swings up into the top of the tent there. What's my longest drive ever? Probably like in the, you know, mid 300 yards range, like 350, right? And we're talking, you know, downwind, firm fairways. There's a reason, guys, that when, you know, pros talk about distance, they talk about ball speed, right? Because that's how much, you know, speed you're able to generate off of the club face. But of course, the total yardage that the ball goes is very dependent on the conditions, the temperature, the wind, how firm the fairways are, right? So I feel comfortable saying that I can generate ball speeds in like the mid 160s. The highest I've seen on TrackMan this year is 172. That was at the beginning of the year. So it's been a while since I've done some proper speed training, especially with the knee injury that I've been managing. Are you going to do lives from an indoor range or simulators? Best swing of the day. Oh, thanks for saying that, Jake. I think we are. Yes, I'm really hoping to, you know, get out on the simulator, maybe play some rounds. That was a good swing. You should stick with that, yes. So Jake, it's a great question, and because we've moved recently, you guys might remember, if you've been here since the beginning of the channel, we did a lot of content from simulators early on, before the season had even started. It was January, but I said, I don't want to wait to start making content and posting. So why not just start, even if it is from a simulator? Hurry up, we're waiting behind you. That's a funny comment. 117 with that swing there. Just put the club on the ball, bro. Like this. Look at this. Look at all this. The club is on the ball. We're touching the balls, guys. We're touching it. We're doing it. We're touching the ball. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. All right, somebody give me a number between like 80 and 120 yards. We can try to get dialed in with a little practice here. Cheese operator, 67. We can try 67. It wasn't necessarily in the range that I was looking for, but... $66. Look at that, really close. That's awesome. Within 1 yard of our target. Paul said 105. Let's do 105 next. That's a funny comment, Jake. Travis said 81, so we'll do 81 next. We're targeting 105 here, guys, with a gap wedge. $101. Pretty close. Next up, we've got 81. Let's try 81. $75. Okay, a little short, but not terrible. Let's try 81 again. The other thing, Jake, is I think I'm going to be a true sicko this winter, and I'm going to just get a little heater out here and try to keep the streams going in the winter. Sorry if I missed your comments, guys. Pigfan says, I only have my big brother left. Oh, man, that is very tragic. I'm so sorry to hear that for you and for your family. I know those kinds of moments are really, really tough, and grief, unfortunately, is a universal part of the human experience, right? We all, unfortunately, deal with, losing people close to us. And the only thing I would tell you from my experience, Pigfan, is that remembering those people and trying to live through their actions, right? I lost my grandfather, who was a really special person to me at the beginning of this year. And, I think about him all the time. I just try to think about those moments of like, oh, he taught me how to do this. Or, it is emotional, right? Thinking about these people that mean a lot to us. So, you can probably hear in my voice, right? Like, this is a person that meant a lot to me. And it's okay. It's okay to get emotional, guys, right? You care about people, you miss them. When I first found out, the first place I went was to go hit golf balls, right? Just, something to clear your mind and but it does get easier. Grief is only love. That's right. Oh. All right, we're going to go 110 here. 110, really smooth, full swing. $113, really close. Really close. Nice setup, thanks so much. Hey, Little H is here. How about 100-yard shot? Boom! Look at that, guys. 100 yards on the dot. Call your number. Call your own number. Sometimes you get it right. Look at that. Little draw, 100-yard shot. Boom. Thank you guys for saying that. I appreciate your support. Like I was starting to say, Pigfan, time does make it easier, right? Time heals all wounds is what they say, and I don't think it heals them. I think it just, you get exposure therapy, right? The first few days, you're like, wow, I've never experienced my life without these people, right? And that's really hard. But over time, right? Oh, I probably should not pour water all over my laptop. That seems like a bad idea. Right, but over time, you learn to carry that with you. Whoa. I don't know what. Paul says time never heals. Yeah, that's why I said I don't know if you know if that's entirely the way I would want to phrase it, right? In terms, you know, like I said, I think it's just you learn to carry these things, and I wish that I had better advice or better solutions for these things, but sometimes the answer is they're just really hard. What have I done here? Did I make it dark mode or something? I don't know what I've done. Oh, there we go. Default view. Okay, love it. The anger is the hardest. I think it depends on the situation, Paul, but it definitely can be. I think it certainly depends on the circumstances, right? I think, you know, for me, I got a wonderful, you know, 30-plus year relationship with this person, right? My grandfather. He got to live an awesome, full life, right? There was nothing sort of unexpected about his passing. But it can still be hard. Sorry, guys, I'm usually a little more composed. I would go and practice, and now I want to get on the PGA Tour for them. Well, I believe in you, Pig Fan. I think that you can do it. And by think, I mean I know you can, right? If you set your mind to something, to a goal like that. Sorry guys, just doing a little bit of maintenance here. Oh, a little discombobulated this morning. Do 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 do. I appreciate you saying that, Jake. It's funny, Paul. He was not a golfer. He did not. He was a very pragmatic man. He he didn't even like the gym. He's like, I would rather, you know, go chop wood or like get something for my effort than just lift some weights around. So very pragmatic kind of guy. Hey, McFishin is here. Oh. All right, somebody give me a number. We just nailed the last one at 100 yards. I'm going to see if we can bust it like 125, 130. No, I don't know if we picked it up. No. We're also very low on battery. GRK wants me to stop sniffing. Well, bro, I wasn't anticipating that I would be emotionally engaged by the chat in this way. So I hear your point about listening to it. However, that is the reality of how humans sometimes respond to things like grief and being sad. This is 52 degree, but we can switch up the club, guys, if you want to try 135, we can try to hit a pitching wedge. McFishin said nice swing, and so did Traven. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate you saying that. Okay. 140 pitching wedge. All right, so we're going to go here. Oh, that last swing was 125. Look at that. We're going to go pitching wedge. My pitching wedge, guys, is this 46-degree Vokey wedge with the C-taper shaft in it and these new cool green ferrules I put on. All right, so we're looking for 135 and then 140. McFishin says we almost have the exact same swing. Well, that's awesome. It's a good swing. It's the only one I've got. Show me the money. Mm-hmm. Come on, give me something. We might have run out of battery on the launch monitor, guys. Start them clubs up. Thanks, Juan. Pigfan says, one granddad and dad died. I could never give up. They'd always take me out somewhere every day of the week, so I was doing nothing every day. Then I decided because they loved golf, I would go and practice. Now I want to get on the PGA Tour. I think that's an amazing way to honor their memory and legacy and be inspired. Truth is Objective said, after training so hard with my short irons, I'm pretty sure I've forgotten how to properly hit my driver. It is definitely challenging, guys, to try to mix the driver swing and the iron swing, right? Remember that the goals are different. We have different objectives with those clubs. Let's see if we can get this pitching wedge to pick up. See how far it's going. Show me something, launch monitor. No. It's trying, it's just not consistently picking them up. Here, let's see if we can end the session and try a new one. We might just fully be out of battery. 160 if you can. That would be more like 8 or 9 iron. Start them clubs up, yeah. Stay grinding, my friend. Been a minute. Hey, Doe Division. I've been practicing wedge work for the last couple months. Went to the course the first time in a while. Was way better with wedges and irons. That's amazing. Yo, man, do you know any apps I can check how far I hit my clubs on Samsung, maybe? I don't know about apps for that. I do know that the MLM2 Pro, which is the upgraded version of this product, does work with Android devices. The MLM is just for iOS devices, unfortunately. So we're going to go virtual range. Pitching wedge. Oh, yeah, that's why. We're at 1%, guys. Look at this. Yep, we've lost it. Black screen. Ah, you hate to see it. One of these days I'll get my act together and I'll charge these things before I come out to stream. Pigfan says, you know what, John? If you hit 250 yards with a 9-iron, I'll donate $500. Well, as much as I would appreciate that, your money can certainly be spent better places. While I am grateful for your support. Also, there's no chance I could ever hit a 9-iron 250 yards. Maybe if you took me out to like an airport tarmac. So we can do some swing work, do some impact drills, work on the swing. Went from shooting 30, 40 over to 21 over. That's amazing progress, Doe Division. Do you know open the door, shut the door swing? I don't. What is that? I use the cat flap technique. Is that like shutting the face on the way back and then opening it on the way through? I'm not entirely sure I follow Paul, but tell me more. In the meantime, guys, what are some great drills we can do to work on our ball striking without the launch monitor? Right, we can do this pre-setting impact drill. I love this one. Right, where you just get into that impact position with the hips open, handles forward, the head is kind of behind or in line with the ball. Right, so you can practice getting into that position. And making some 3/4 swings all the way through impact. Pig fan, yeah, I try to be pretty cautious about the personal info stuff, but I'm in the northeast part of the U.S., and I'm certainly open to meeting our subscribers and stuff, IRL, you could say. Just not something I'm gonna, maybe advertise on the stream, as you can imagine. 7-iron and 4-iron have become my favorite clubs. Those are good ones to hit well, right? If you can hit a good 4-iron, you're really in business, right? That can get you around most golf courses, just hitting good 4-irons off the tee. You want in between door and cat flap, if you know what I mean. Nah, that's what a pred would say. Well, I think intent obviously matters, right? And if my intention is to guard my privacy, then I'm not going to tell people where I live on the internet. It has been cool, guys. I've had some people here locally actually recognize me and say, hey, are you John from, I've seen your streams, I've seen your videos, I've seen you on YouTube. And that has been really cool for me. To have somebody come up and say like, hey, I actually, I saw something that you put out there, and I then recognized you out in the world and felt comfortable enough to come and say hi. So that's pretty cool. Pig fan says, I'm 10 years old. Yeah, totally. I think just keep grinding. Remember that, the work you put in will play out in the results you get. And try, you've obviously experienced some tragedy, it sounds like, in your life, and try to just, get through each day as best you can. Try to live through those people that you miss, and, remember the things that they've taught you, right? You become the person you are because of those people around you. And like for me with my grandfather, I know that there's tons of skills and attributes that I have that I wouldn't have had without him. So every time I get to leverage one of those skills, or I find myself, being honest or compassionate, like things that he taught me, I can say, wow, he's still here. He's still in me. Yo-Yo's going to the range. Awesome. Traven says, you're a great and genuine guy. Thanks so much. You gained a subscriber. Amazing. If you guys are enjoying the stream and you like hanging out, you want to subscribe like Traven, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out. We are just flying past 5,000 subscribers, guys, on our way to 10,000. Will be our next milestone, but those are just milestones, right? It's every day we're trying to put in some consistent effort. We celebrate the milestones because they are just that. They're markers, they're ways that we acknowledge progress, but the progress happens every single day. I want to make sure I catch up here. Magna had a question about keep pulling it left. So if you're pulling it left, it tells us that the path is probably some amount to the left. You're swinging the club to the left, and the face is probably pretty square to that path if the ball's not, if it's not hooking and curving further to the left. Right, that tells us that the face is square, but the path is just kind of across it and to the left. Right, so to fix that, a couple things. We could open the face to get the ball curving back to the right and hit a fade, or we can get the path more to the right to keep that square club face to have that ball fly pretty straight. Any tips for driver? And McFishin is back. Amazing. I meant hook. Sorry. Oh, so if the ball is curving to the left, right, and you're hooking it, that tells us that the club face is too close, right, pointed to the left too much, so that when you come into impact, right, we're going to create this curve on the ball that sends it too far to the left, right? So what I would suggest is trying to get that club face more open. And the way that I typically advise people to do that is by giving themselves a task orientation, right? And by that I mean, don't worry about your swing or, you know, where the club and what's happening. Just say, hey, my goal is to learn how to hit a slice. If you're hooking it and the ball's going to the left, you got to learn how to get the club face more open, the path more neutral, and see that ball going the other direction. So next time you're on the range, try to hit some big slices. You might have to feel like you're really, you know, holding that face off or picking it up in the backswing. Like whatever feels are going to teach you to develop that skill. I want you to develop the skill of controlling the club face and the club path into impact. That alone, that skill is how we control the trajectory of the golf ball, right? So I would tell you, learn how to hit some big, big slices. Just see the ball going the other way, and then within the confines of your own swing and athletic ability, dial in from there. So say, okay, I don't need quite as much hold off, but I don't need the quick release that I was hitting those hooks before, and somewhere in between is how you try to really get dialed in and hit the ball straight or curving the way you want to. John, I'm just going to say that you're actually the nicest person I've ever met. You're the best golfer. You're so cool. I wonder what my family is thinking of me right now. I'm sure they're proud of you, Pig fan. You've got a lot of life ahead of you, right? If you're 10 years old and you've been through a lot of trauma already, then I know that they're thinking of you and proud of you. Falk Music said, hey, newcomer here, thanks for your tips. Just started playing again for the first time in 20 years. That's amazing. Welcome back to the game, the best game there is. And I'm happy to have you here. We have new subscribers every single stream, which is super cool, guys. And I would also caution you, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy who loves golf and has spent a lot of time working on the golf swing, understanding the game. You know, I used to spend hours and hours just reading about like D-plane and ball flight laws and all this kind of stuff. I certainly know, you know, I'm a better teacher, I'm a better purveyor of these ideas than I am an executor, right? My golf game is, you know, decent, but not very good. I'm like a 1.6 handicap right now. But I do understand, you know, I can look at somebody's swing and say, this is what's wrong, or, you know, if you tell me what's going on, generally I have a pretty good idea of what we might do to fix it. Magna said, perfect, thanks for tips. I can already hit a slice when I want. Just can't hit it straight yet. Sub to let you know how I get on. Amazing, Magna. Well, I'm glad you're here. And it's a great opportunity to think about some of the previous moments where I feel a ton of validation doing this, right? Where people come in, they have a question, they're saying, hey, I'm slicing my driver, and I give them a tip, or we do some drills together, and they come back a week or two later and say, hey, John, that drill you gave me, it worked. It really fixed my slice. I'm hitting the ball straighter. I'm having more fun playing golf. Outside of the, you know, life stuff that I like to talk about, you know, with sobriety and mental health, that to me is very validating in terms of getting positive feedback from people that are watching this and actually trying to get better at golf. Maybe, Paul. I'm not entirely sure if we'll be later. Thank you so much for being here, Paul. I'm very grateful for your continued support. Paul's been here really since the beginning, guys, on these live streams and supporting us, you know, both with my swing. He's a great teacher virtually, but also just, you know, support when we're talking about some of these life things, right? Don't take your eye off the ball, guys. You might fully shank it. That was actually hit off the hosel. Can you explain the effect of foot placement on different short game? Sure. So I think in short game, right, we're not trying to hit the ball very far. So while we still need a stable base, we don't need like a full stance, right? As if we were going to make a big full swing. I think it's actually detrimental to try to chip like this. It's really hard to make consistent contact, right? I actually put my feet almost together when I chip, right? So I like feeling a little bit of openness. Again, we're not concerned about distance. We want to hit this ball accurately. See you later, Paul. Thanks so much. Right? I like standing closer to the ball because we're trying to get down onto the back of it, right? With a clean, crisp, consistent strike where we hit the ball first and then the turf. And I think so many people would be better served by, trying to chip from a position like this, rather than I see so many people who get into chip, they're trying to hit the ball like 4 yards, and they're like making up, they're standing far away from it, and they're trying to just go like some sort of awkward, motion like this. Whereas if you really feel like you're more on top of the ball, you'll find that the striking, the crispness of your contact with those chip shots gets much, much better. Paul says, I have to go out now. Just my thoughts are with you, brother. Take care. Thanks so much, Paul. John, can you give me some tips for the driving range? Because I go with my brother. He can see the unfrustrated every time I hit a ball because I top it and my swing looks... Oh, I think some frustration when you're learning golf is normal. Pigfan, what I would tell you is my best tip for the driving range is to just slow things down. Just make the swing smaller. Try to pick out a specific skill that you want to develop. Right? So if you go to the range, instead of saying, well, I'm just going to work through my bag and hit every club and like hope I get better. You could do that, and eventually if you do it enough, you will get better. I would suggest having a plan when you go to the range and saying, okay, I have 100 golf balls. I'm going to hit 50 of them working on impact, and I'm going to hit 50 working on execution. Right? I'm just making these up. You could do 90% working on impact and just how you strike the golf ball, which is everyone can spend more time working on that. And when I say impact, I mean, do we hit the center of the club face, both vertically and laterally? Are we hitting the ball first and then the turf? Right? And you can practice that by just making the swing smaller and practicing. Even with driver, you can make little swings like that. And just practice hitting the center of the club face over and over and over again. And I think you will have much more success building your skill set by slowing down and working on your technique, right? Whether it could be swing plane, you could do some, you just have to do some slow, exaggerated movements, right? But I really think working on impact is a great idea to continue at building your skills and ability. You're welcome, Falk. Hey, Golf Master, of course I remember you. You've been here a bunch. Just enjoying the time, playing the game we all love. I totally agree, Falk. I think you guys have heard me talk about it in videos and on live streams, but this idea of gratitude being so central to the golf experience, right? Anytime you have, 2 to 4 or 5 hours away from the stress of daily life to spend time in nature, with your friends, with new friends, potentially, if you're playing with new people, that in and of itself is something to be grateful for. Regardless of the score or how you play, you could have the worst day of golf in terms of scoring, and still, at the end of the day, say, wow, that was a great time. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to do that. And I think it's also beneficial to how you play, right? It really takes some of the pressure off. Like, it's not just about the score. So we can enjoy being here. We can have fun doing this. And I found that the rounds where I play the best are where I have the most fun, right? Hey, DJ Wood is here. What's up, DJ, my dude? Tommy says, I have problems striking the ball first. So Tommy, what you got to work on is impact and slowing down, right? You can practice impact truly like this, right? Just practice hitting that ball first. You don't have to hit it very far, but that skill will translate. And as you add more speed, right? You can hear that strike remains crisp. I've trained that skill. Remember, guys, the golf ball does not care what your swing looks like. Go watch the PGA Tour. You'll see all kinds of different swings. You can watch John Rahm swing it, strong and inside and short like this. You can watch Matthew Wolff swing it way over his head, and down in here. The golf ball doesn't care. All that matters is where is this face pointing at impact? How much speed did you deliver efficiently into the ball? Right? So work on impact. That's my best advice. Danny says, any worries about a ball flying out of one of those corners where the net doesn't cover? I'd find a way no matter what. So that's why I ask. You know, Danny, I didn't have that concern until pretty recently when I did actually hit a couple balls directly off the hosel. Thankfully, the fence is there, and I don't have too much in the way of worries about actually like hitting a ball solidly through there. However, because of all the questions I get about it, it is much more of a concern than I had when I first set this up. So maybe I should be a little more worried about it. Falk says, completely agrees. Help me stay sober and clear steer my mind spirals. Me too, Falk. You guys have certainly heard me talk openly about my alcohol issues, and being sober now for almost 5 years is something I'm incredibly proud of, and takes a lot of hard work. Sometimes on an ongoing basis, right? There's never a moment where you know, sometimes I think like, oh, I've done all the work, you know, I'm good now. And I'll have those moments of like, man, you could just go out and get hammered and not feel the things you're feeling. And you have to catch yourself and be like, man, it's still in there. It is definitely still in there. Thanks for being here, Pig Fan. Best of luck with everything. Very grateful for all your support. Gunner says, I have a bet with my brother that by next year, I have to be a single-digit handicap and he will pay for a new golf simulator. I'm a 21. What would you recommend? Okay, Gunner, we can definitely do this. I'm going to help you do this because I want to see you get a simulator in there. Couple things. Short game, can't practice it enough. Just go learn how to chip the ball close to the hole. Go spend however much time you have. If say you have 4 hours a week to practice, not playing golf, just practicing, 4 hours a week, right? I would spend 2.5 or 3 of those hours just chipping around the green, working on bunker shots, you know, fairway lies, rough lies, long pitches, 30, 40 yards, all the way to, you know, like a 6-yard chip right in front of you. That is usually free and very easily accessible, that kind of practice. It's also going to help your scores the most. So that's number one. Number two is impact. You have to learn how to deliver a square club face onto the back of the ball. And to do that, I would suggest grabbing a short club. I have a pitching wedge here in my hand. And when you're on the driving range, or practicing, right, obviously I have a net here, I'm going to imagine this ball is going to go 30 yards in the air, right? But I'm going to make sure that I'm hitting it in the center of the club face. I'm hitting the ball first, and that ball is flying pretty straight towards my target, right? So it's just a little swing, but you hear that contact, right? It's ball first, it's clicky, it's compressed. Jigga said agreed. Thanks very much, Tommy. David said hi. Oh, Lily and Loki, Putt King. Let's see if they want to come back out. They probably went back inside. It's a little cold out here today. They're short-haired guys, so they much prefer the warmer weather. Chains Artist said 2.5 years sober. I now run the local 9-hole solo and golf every chance I get. Amazing, bro. I'm proud of you. 2.5 years is a great accomplishment. Keep fighting the good fight, my dude. Right, so that one I could feel was a tiny bit out on the toe. So as you're working on these drills, you can really try to dial in and even move around, right? Tell yourself, hey, I'm going to hit a couple on the heel, and then I'm going to hit a couple on the toe. But if you can learn how to move your impact position around the face, right, to say on command, I'm going to hit it out of the toe or out of the heel, well, then you can also hit it out of the center, right? Break a leg, everyone. Awesome. Thanks very much, Falk. Tommy says, my short game needs work. I had to stop playing because I partially tore my tricep. Oh, no. That sounds really painful. I'm glad that you're starting to feel better, Tommy. Short game is the best thing to work. Always keeps you in the game. Totally, Jake. There's a great John Rahm quote that I love when he talks about short game, and he says, it's like medicine for my game when my swing is sick, right? The days when you're hitting it great, you're only going to miss a few greens. You're not going to have to chip that much, right? You're probably hitting it fairly close to the hole if you're hitting it well. But on the days when you're not hitting it well, which everyone has, even the best players in the world have days where they're like, man, I just am not, seeing the shots. I'm not striking it perfectly well. You need a good short game to keep you in the round, right? To be able to turn that, 76 into a 71. Or that, 92 into an 87, right? It's all relative, but you're not going to need it every round, but when you do need it, you're damn happy that you have it if you have a good short game. I have a good short game, guys, because when I was growing up, we didn't have any money. So if I wanted to practice, I could just go to the putting green, the chipping green, and practice as much as I wanted. You just drop a bunch of balls around and chip around, putt. That's free for the most part, as long as you don't get, chased off by a ranger or something. Gunner says, thank you. I'll be updating you on my progress. Amazing. If I can be of further assistance, Gunner, as you continue, improving, there are things that you need to work on, then just hop back in here and we'll make sure we address it. Boren says, best practice advice for someone just starting out. I feel like there's so many things I need to work on, but I don't know where to start. So Boren, fundamentals are things that every golfer works on, right? And fundamentals, I mean setup, posture, grip, ball position, so all these kind of key basic things. So make sure you develop good habits from the beginning, right? Learn how to aim your body in your golf ball, in your club. I would work on impact a lot, right? Like you've heard me just talk about the ability to strike the ball in the center of the face and hit the ball first and then the turf, right? That is the key skill that separates players of every level. How consistently can you strike the ball in the center of the face with the face square and hit the ball first and then the turf, right? So those are the two main ones that I would have you focus on as a newer golfer, right? Don't worry about equipment or hitting draws and fades, right? Just get on the range and you could truly hit 80, 90% of your practice balls with a less than full swing, right? Just get on the range and just start learning how to hit the center of the club with the back of the ball, right? That is the main skill that you need to develop as a beginner, and doing it at a slower speed will make it easier. It just will. I do it myself. You guys have, if you've been watching the channel for a long time, watching me grind on my own game, right? You see me do these drills in here almost every day, definitely every week, right? Because every golfer can improve the consistency of their ball striking. Chain says, short game tip that works for me. If you're within 30 feet, think of your iron like a putter. Same swing, just adjusted to the power you need to get there. Gunner says, one more thing. I'm quite tall. I'm 6'5", so should I get longer wedges? I definitely think if you're 6'5", you should probably think about getting some extended clubs. You might need like an extra inch on your irons and wedges. But a qualified fitter would certainly be able to tell you there is some distinctions, right? I'm 6 feet tall and I play standard length irons, but that's because I'm told I have pretty long arms, right? So my arms hang, pretty far down, so I'm able to, I don't need extended clubs, right? You might only need a half an inch extra, but a fitter would be able to tell you definitively. I totally agree with what Change is saying, right? I tell people when you're working on short game, the most important thing from a scoring perspective, right, is getting your ball on the green in one shot. The thing that will cause you to make doubles and triples and really blow up your scores is double chips and penalty shots, which is more off the tee, right? But as far as short game is concerned, I tell people to develop a simple, basic chip shot that they can employ everywhere around the green and make sure that they have a high degree of confidence that next shot is going to be played from the putting surface. You might only be able to hit it to 30 feet. If you're really short-sighted, right, say the pin's right there and it's on a downslope and I I don't have a good lie. Well, I can always just chip this ball out. It's going to run out to 20 or 30 feet. I can 2-putt for a bogey and be on my way, right? What makes it worse is when you try to hit a crazy flop shot and you leave it in front of you, you're still in the rough, or you hit it too far and it's over the back of the green or something, right? But to Chain's point, a simple, almost like a putting motion is going to be the most effective basic chip shot for the majority of people, in my opinion, right? You don't need a lot of wrist hinge. Don't worry about what the club is doing. There's plenty of loft to get that ball out. It's just an exaggerated putting motion. You're just swinging this triangle, right? The triangle between my arms and the club. There's nothing happening with my wrists or the club or, anything like that, right? It's just that swinging the triangle. Silly question, but where would you use a lob wedge in short game situations? I use the lob wedge for all my short game shots, but that's because philosophically I've learned, my preference is to remove the indecision, right? I know if I have a chip around the green, I'm just going to grab this club and I don't have to think about it anymore. And I've learned over time to hit a variety of shots with this club, right? I can hit low ones that, come out with tumbling and rolling out, right? By playing it back in my stance and kind of hooking it, right? You obviously can also hit, high soft ones by opening the face and kind of cutting across it. But whatever your approach is, I do think there's value in having a lob wedge. There are situations on the golf course, especially as your skill level improves, where you need the ability to land the ball, with some height and some spin to keep the ball in certain parts of the green. I think in bunkers especially, it can be really useful to help people get the ball up and out of the sand. You got to just remember that there's plenty of loft on these clubs. You don't have to help it up, right? I see a lot of people try to, like, oh, I got to get it up in the air. I do this, right? You're actually making it worse, right? You're better off staying, on your front side here and letting this loft on the club do the work to get that ball out. Toby says, ball in front or back of stance? Again, from a consistency perspective, I play almost all my chips on this kind of back heel, right? My stance is very narrow when I chip, so it's, not that far from the center, you could say, or even the front. But I like having the ball a little bit further back and feeling like I'm kind of right on top of it like this. GRK wants me to... Dieter says, hey brother, hope you're well. Broke 100 for the first time this last week. That's amazing work. Let's clap it up in the chat for Dieter, guys. That's very good progress. Very exciting. Right, so back of the stance, almost like I'm right on top of it. It's just that kind of simple little motion. Just stumbled on this channel. Great job. If you're ever in my area in Eastern Washington, come play on me. Oh, very cool, Chains. I appreciate you saying that. Like I was saying earlier, guys, it would be super cool to meet some of our subscribers and get out and play golf with people. Could be really fun. Oh boy, look at the time, guys. We unfortunately are going to have to go back to work, sit in front of our desk for a little bit. Can you take full swings in your setup? Oh yeah, definitely. The only thing I don't love doing is driver because I mistakenly kind of centered this over the center of the tent, so the highest part of my swing is actually back here. Ideally, I would, to hit driver, I have to kind of stand more like over here, but it's definitely doable. We've done it a bunch. And Stevie, it's actually, the battery has run out, but we have a launch monitor set up here that we use to dial in, our wedges and some irons here in the net setup. So that's super cool. Hey, ETN is here. Love this game. Thanks so much. I am not Canadian. I am American. We are in the northeast part of the U.S. in Rhode Island. So getting towards the end of the golf season here, guys, unfortunately. What do you do for work? I work in technology consulting, which is an extremely vague way of saying I sit in front of a computer and look at data and system architecture and things like that. However, guys, with your help, I am hoping that we can find a way to, whether it's live streaming or making content, find a way to make this a business. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how this turns into paying my bills and paying my mortgage, but I get so much joy from sharing with you guys, from hearing people come back and say, hey man, I heard you talking about your sobriety and I made a change in my own life and I've been sober for the last 2 months. And that, you know, that was an interaction I had recently, and that was like jaw-dropping to me, that me sharing and talking about these experiences I've had could be having a positive impact on somebody else's life by watching this. That's all I could ever hope for by making content. And if there's a way where I can spend more time doing that and find a way to pay my bills and you know, be a comfortable person and play golf and talk about this stuff, then I would love to find a way to do that. Like we just hit 5,000 subscribers. It's only been 10 months since we started. So I know we're still in the early innings of doing this, and to get some of that, you know, validation and milestones is great. But we're not there yet, guys. There's still lots of work to do. I think just consistent effort, like I talk about, will be the way to make it happen. Nice, keep it up. Thanks so much. Hey, very high from Rwanda. Stevie said, easy sub, you're a cool dude. I appreciate you saying that, Stevie. Nice, keep it up. I'm rooting for you, my dude. Maybe come out with a fan shop, start a clothing and gear brand. Oh, that's an interesting idea. I don't know what my, you know, what it would be. But we could maybe do, you know, like keep working hard, hats and t-shirts. Right? That is the kind of the motto of the channel. You guys have heard me say that a lot. This idea of just keep doing the work. Just, you know, one day after another, one step at a time. You can't do it all at once, right? I didn't get sober for almost 5 years. In 5 years, right? I did it one day at a time. I made a choice. I said, today I'm not going to drink. Then the next day I made the same choice. Then another day. Then another day, right? And that's how you stack up these long periods of sustained effort and success. Falk Music said, keep it up, man. Enjoyed the first stream of yours. I'm on a similar journey. Wish you luck and success. Same to you, Falk. I wish the best for you. You know, it's easy to stand out on the internet these days simply by being nice and being kind to people. By saying, you know, before I respond to this comment or this email, how can I make it one notch nicer? Is there a way it can be a little bit more positive? And I found a lot of success with that attitude. Just, how can I be a little bit more positive, putting, you know, good things out into the world? Ever thought about doing a Why You Suck as a Golfer series? Essentially make a few videos going into common pitfalls of new golfers and how to overcome them. That's a good idea. I like that one. Hello, Lai Chiaway. What do you do for gripping the club? I struggle with finding consistency. Just size up to mid-size +3. Feels better. Sometimes I'm off a bit. And Phil said hi. Hello, Phil. Wow, guys, we really have to go. I think that's a great idea, Dieter. We should definitely do like a, you know, how to fix your slice. And we could do a, you know, here's what to expect when you get to the golf course for the first time. I played golf with somebody recently who had only been on the course a few times. And they were like, hey, just, you know, tell me if I'm doing things wrong or what I could do better. And I thought that could be a really cool content idea to help people feel more comfortable getting to the golf course for the first time. But I really love all this engagement, guys. Thank you so much for all your support on the channel, liking the videos, sharing them, you know, clicking these links, right? Helping me generate some interest for these products, right? That's part of the, you know, turning this into something where we can support ourselves. But without you guys, I couldn't do it. So I'm very grateful for all the support. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and we will see you next time, guys. Thanks so much for all the support.